Okay, let's just jump right in. Think about a content strategy that's pulling in over $30,000 a month on Facebook.
Which is already, an incredible number.
It is, but here's the real twist, the contradiction at the heart of it. This isn't being done with some kind of groundbreaking creative genius or viral luck. It's being done by mastering just one thing, being relentlessly repeatable.
Relentlessly is the right word.
We've been digging into the source material on this workflow, and the numbers are they're staggering. We're talking about a payout of $32,500 in a single 28-day period.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's powered by over 314 million views.
Yeah.
Daily earnings can spike up to $2,400. So for you, listening to this, the core insight is that this kind of success isn't about genius. It's about building a guaranteed high-volume content system.
And that raises a really important question, I think, for anyone in this space. What's the philosophy behind this? We're always taught that originality is everything.
Right. Be unique. Stand out.
Exactly. But this whole model just flips that on its head.
Yeah.
It's not about coming up with new ideas. It's about finding what the algorithm is already rewarding and then just systematically reproducing it. It's almost like treating content creation like a manufacturing line.
A manufacturing line. I like that. And that mindset, it leads you straight to the foundation of the whole thing, which is just rejecting complexity completely.
Precisely. The people who are succeeding with this say that the #1 reason most creators fail is because they're trying to be an artist. They're not trying to be a systems engineer. The system has to be predictable. It relies on consistency and sheer volume. I mean, we're talking about posting rates of like 25 times a day as a starting point.
Starting point.
Yeah, the top performers are pushing 50, maybe even 100 posts every single day.
100 posts a day. That's what, new content every 10 or 15 minutes while you're awake? The logistics of that alone are just mind-boggling.
And you can't possibly sustain that kind of volume without a really defined box to operate in, which is why niche selection is, it's totally non-negotiable.
Of course. If someone sees one post and clicks on your page, they have to know instantly what you're about.
Right. If they have to guess, they're gone. They won't follow. This high-volume approach just demands a super specific, repeatable niche.
And the sources we looked at show just how low the creative bar can be as long as the content hits some kind of shared, repeatable trigger.
Like those faceless pages.
Exactly. The ones with the simple AI-driven graphics paired with like nostalgic phrases. It's totally generic, non-copyrighted, and you can mass produce it.
There was that one famous example of a simple AI graphic. It was a squirrel.
The squirrel, yeah.
And all it said was, "It's Tuesday, good morning."
Oh.
That one post got almost 6,000 likes. Creatively, it's worth, basically nothing. But it taps into this super reliable, low-effort engagement signal, just acknowledging the day.
And that's where it gets really interesting, right? The content doesn't have to be complex at all. It just has to trigger something reliably. We even see this with motivational content, like the entrepreneurship facts page.
Yeah, they're just using AI images with quotes. Thousands of likes. They're not writing some unique new manifesto. They're just pumping out easily digestible, shareable messages.
So the whole system is built to be manufactured for platform metrics, not to win a creative award.
Exactly. And once you have that philosophy of repeatability locked in, then you get to the second really crucial part, mandatory platform compliance. This is where it stops being a hobby and starts being a business.
Right, because none of this matters if you're not in the monetization program.
And the recommendation is always to set up a business page, not a personal profile. Mainly because the content itself is impersonal. It's
Right.
AI graphics, it's sourced posts. It's just cleaner to keep it separate on a business page.
Okay, and for anyone starting from zero, the sources are crystal clear. You have to be patient.
You do. A brand new page needs to post consistently for at least 30 days before Facebook will even consider inviting you into the program. It's a non-negotiable warm-up period.
And to sort of build trust within that big meta ecosystem, there are some basic setup steps they recommend.
Yeah, you need to look like a real coherent brand. A good cover photo, a profile pic that matches, a short little 1-2 sentence bio, and connect it to other things like a website or an Instagram account.
And there was one smart little recommendation about setting up a Threads account.
Right, because Facebook, Instagram, and Threads are all meta. So linking them signals that you're, active and committed across their whole suite of apps. It just helps.
Okay, so let's talk about a detail that really separates the pros from the amateurs here. Meta verification.
This was fascinating. So the creator in the source material, they said they made over $150,000 without being verified.
So why bother? If you're making that much, why pay the $15 a month now?
Because it's not for the blue check. It's not for prestige. It's for business insurance.
Business insurance.
Yes. They learned a really painful lesson where their page got suspended from monetization, and because it took so long to get resolved through the normal channels, they lost over $30,000 in earnings.
Ouch.
Yeah. Verification gets you access to priority meta support. So when your whole business depends on the platform being up and running for you, $15 a month to, cut down the risk of a $30,000 outage is a no-brainer.
That completely reframes what verification is for. It's not a status symbol. It's a line item in your business expenses, like server costs.
Absolutely. And that compliance safety net goes even deeper. The most critical check is in your professional dashboard under page status. You have to watch that like a hawk.
Not just for the page.
Not just for the page, for the connected personal profile, too. If your personal profile has a strike against it, your business page will never, ever get a monetization invite. It doesn't matter if you're getting 1 billion views. That connection is an absolute red line.
So before they even start this content machine, there's one last prep step. They warm up the algorithm, which is an interesting idea. They literally just scroll through their niche, liking, commenting, following other pages. Why do that?
It does two things. First, it trains Facebook on what your page is about, which helps with distribution later. But more importantly, Facebook starts feeding you the exact kind of high engagement, proven content you need for inspiration. The platform becomes your own curated library of what works.
Which flows perfectly into the actual system, the AI workflow. The algorithm is now basically hand-delivering you guaranteed content ideas.
Right. You never have to guess. The inspiration comes from stuff that's already viral on Facebook, on X, on Instagram Reels, on Reddit. It's not brainstorming, it's data collection.
Okay, so let's walk through the mechanics for a simple screenshot post, which is the fastest. You find a post on X with, say, 3 million views. You screenshot it, and then you upload that picture to a pre-trained ChatGPT.
And we should probably clarify what pre-trained means here. It doesn't mean you need a PhD in computer science.
Right.
It just means you've given ChatGPT custom instructions, you've coded in rules for the AI, like the tone it should use, the length, mandatory emojis, the formatting. It just removes human error and makes sure every output fits the system.
But the real genius isn't just that the AI writes a caption. The prompt engineering is way smarter than that. The prompt tells the AI to generate multiple captions and a complementary first comment.
Yes.
Why is that first comment so important?
It's a classic way to kind of game the algorithm's engagement velocity. The second you post your content, you immediately post that engaging or, even controversial first comment yourself.
So it looks like a conversation is already happening.
Instantly. It signals to the algorithm that this post is immediately grabbing attention, and that boosts its initial distribution. That first hour is so critical, and this is a way to give it an artificial push.
That is incredibly smart. It's system architecture, not content creation.
And then the efficiency kicks in. The AI gives you the text, you drop it into a scheduler like Post Planner, you fill up your pre-made content buckets for the day, and you're done. You're not creating, you're just executing a checklist.
So what about Reels? They're a bit more work, but the philosophy is identical.
Totally identical. You find a viral reel, a proven concept, you screenshot the text on the screen, and you have ChatGPT pull out the exact script for you. Then you just drop that script over some generic B-roll footage in an editor.
And for the reel caption, the AI prompt is even more strategic.
Much more. The source mentioned a custom prompt that demanded 4 things. Something polarizing, some thought leadership, a short personal story, and a clear call to action, like signing up for an email list. So the caption itself is a multi-purpose business asset.
And none of this works, none of the volume is possible without one core principle: batching.
Oh, absolutely.
They are not making one post at a time. They're taking, 50 screenshots, saving them to a folder, and then processing them all in one big session with the AI. Upload, prompt, copy, schedule, over and over.
It's how you avoid burnout. You operate like a small factory. You batch the brain work and automate the creative work. It's the only way to hit that 25 to 100 post-a-day target.
So that brings us to maybe the most surprising part of this whole thing: the diversification strategy and what you could call the earnings paradox.
Right.
So we know images are faster and easier, but the creator was adamant that Reels were essential for growing his audience in the beginning. He said 2 Reels a day grew his page from 25,000 followers to over 100,000 in 6 to 9 months.
That's audience growth. But let's look at the actual money. In that 28-day period with 314 million views, the split was clear. 66% of the views came from photos, only 32% came from reels.
So you'd assume the money follows the views, right?
Yeah.
That photos make most of the cash.
That's what's so counterintuitive. The actual earnings breakdown was the real shocker. 51% of the ad revenue came from photos, but only 15% came from reels.
Maybe 15%.
But, and this is the key, a massive 32% of the total earnings came from bonuses.
So almost a third of the income is from this third unpredictable category.
Exactly. The creators doing the hardest work, making video reels, for the smallest direct paycheck. Why? To qualify for the bonus lottery.
So what are these bonuses?
They're not guaranteed, but they're huge. The example was getting a $480 bonus for getting 1.5 million views on just 2 posts in a week. They're tied to hitting these big viewership milestones.
And that explains everything. You post the reels, which are great for getting high views, even if their direct ad payout is low, because those views dramatically increase your odds of hitting a milestone and unlocking a massive bonus payment.
And that's the advice for any new page. Post reels. At least one a day for 30 days straight. It's the best way to get that initial monetization invitation because it feeds the system that the platform wants to reward, even if it's indirectly through these bonuses.
So if we tie this all together, the success here isn't really about AI, is it?
Not really. It's about building a really resilient business inside of the platform's rules. AI is just a tool for efficiency. The real strategy is treating the platform rules as absolute law and, even paying for meta verification as a safety net.
The big takeaway here is so clear. This isn't passive income. It's a high-discipline manufacturing process. It uses the algorithm's own desires for high-volume, proven content against itself. The hustle isn't creative, it's organizational.
Systemic.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. This whole model shows the incredible monetization power of repetition and compliance over pure originality. So, if making a serious income at this scale depends on constantly checking for rule violations and paying a monthly fee just for customer support, does that fundamentally change how we should value creativity versus system architecture in this new economy?